Hey everyone, I am Al the Geek. Welcome to this week's episode of The Forge. This week on The Forge, I'm going to teach you how to distress those blasters. Let's get into it.
Welcome to The Forge. I'm Al the Geek. I love making big crazy blasters. Here on The Forge, we're going to show you some tips, some tricks, and how to mod and paint your blasters. From anything from making giant master keys to making that big, long, cool sniper that you're always looking for. Whether it be cosplay or whether it be foam flinging, here at The Forge, we're going to show you how to do that.
This week on The Forge, what we're going to be doing is distressing. So from last time, as you remember, I had a Nerf Forerunner, which I had painted and did all the detail painting on. So you can see the detail painting mostly is done. Now, you can leave it like this, and I know many people probably would, but for me, I mean, it's still cool and it's still fun. And trust me, I'm not saying, no, you have to do it. If you're happy with it like this, then yeah, you know what, you're done, you're good. But for me, I like to distress it. I like to do some dry brushing and then also some rub and buff, which really gives it some depth and some character. And it does make it look a little more real, but thankfully it's a ridiculous looking blaster, and I will be orange tipping it. Even though it is an orange tip now, it will be to make it safe. So, this to this, without the spikes, but the same idea. To show you what I use, anytime you're doing dry brushing or distressing, you want to do a metallic paint. So again, I'm a Tamiya guy. This is Chrome X11. Chrome Silver X11 is what I use. I've already mixed it up a little bit. Oops. And for dry brushing, you can use different brushes, wider ones, thinner ones. For me, I like using a big, thick, heavier one. I'm not a professional at it. I just tell you how I do it. And I'm sure other people recommend different ones, but I use something like this, a nice big head that I can get some paint on. And if you don't know what dry brushing is, the idea basically is that you want to get the tip of your brush wet. But once you get it wet, you want to wipe off all the excess paint. And even if that was still too much, then you want to have something like a paper towel or a rag nearby. Dab it a little bit just to get that excess off paint so you have the minimal amount of paint on it. Therefore, when you go to brush it, you are dry brushing basically with not a lot of paint, and you want to catch the edges and like all the lines on it. The trick is, by dry brushing, you want to hit all the lines and the corners to make it look like it's been worn, wear and tear because of, like, I don't know, sand, wind being thrown around, to therefore expose like the bare metal underneath. Let me show you. So we get the tip of this dabbed. Trying to spray paint everywhere. And I don't know, let's start somewhere. Let's start here. So some people would like to start a little less, and you can, especially until you get the feel for it. I've been doing this a lot, and I generally use a lot more paint and do a lot more distressing, but just enough distressing. If anything, for me, it's kind of like the feel I'm trying to go for is to look like it's weathered, so it's real. But trust me, some weathering, you really get into it, you can really make it super real. Mine is real enough, but then because I go a little overboard, it's a little exaggerated, which therefore lends itself to, yeah, it looks like a real blaster or a real something, but it's a little too much, so it probably isn't. I like to ride that fine line. So again, you catch any edges like this. Notice how I have paint. You almost want to ride it like this, because it seems like that edge has been distressed. On a grip like this, I usually go wider strokes, because odds are, with hands gripping it, you're going to be wearing it off. But you can see what I'm doing to the edges and how that's coming along. So again, find the edges. And especially if you have grills or something like that, because especially if it's like, you know, air feeds through it or whatever else, like an intake, obviously you can imagine years of stuff going in and out of it will wear the paint off, so that's why I do a lot on that. And even on an open surface like this, sometimes I go with a little bit more paint. When I go with a little more paint, you can get like a real scuff, like it's been dropped or you bumped into something or something hit you. And generally, On this surface here, and I can tell some of my chrome could still use another coat. Here's a secret. The chrome I use there is the same as I distress. So what does that mean? There's my final coat to fill it in if it needs to in different places, as I also distress it. Trust me, the first time I did this, I was not this fast at it. I went a lot slower as I tried to get a feel for how much paint to use, what to distress, what not to distress. And that's the best part. Ultimately, well, I'm sure someone will say there's a right way and a wrong way. I won't tell you that. Paint it the way you want to paint it. Like I always tell people, make it the way you want to make it, and you go from there. So again, on the other side, any clean surfaces, you can see how it's coming along. Hitting it. Again, right here we get these ridges. So you can already tell the blaster is kind of, for lack of a better term, coming to life. Because now I'm suddenly Frankenstein's laboratory and I bring things to life. Anyone see any lightning? You want to come over and stand outside and hold a lightning rod for me? Yeah, no, we're just kidding. Don't do that, please. So again, hitting the same spots as I was. Bigger spots, adding a little more paint. And sometimes you don't have to dab, especially if you want to put it on thick. But always have like a paper towel or a rag in case you got too much to take it off. So again, we're going to get it on here. And it's over here is where it is the metallic already. I'm going to go a little heavier with this paint. Even though up here, this is the gunmetal, still coming back with the chrome silver over top will also help even it out, give it some depth, give it some wear and tear, especially if there's any spots that it kind of could have used another coat of paint. But you want to make it feel like it's been used, it's been loved. You can go as far as doing rust and other things so it looks like you pulled it out of like a mud pit or it was buried in a pond and you picked up and shot it. Some of those jobs are really cool. I haven't done it. That's kind of not my thing. That's why I don't do it. So even on the handle here, you can see distressing. Make it look like it's been loved. It has definitely been loved. Some people don't like distressing it. Some people like leaving it as is and then just use it a lot for natural distressing. I may have been at someone's place this weekend who had shared their thoughts on that. And you know what? Ultimately, whatever works for you, man. However you want to do it. It's your blaster, it's your time, it's your thing. Do it the way you want to do it. And if someone has nothing better to do but come up and say, no, that's wrong. Whatever, man. It's mine. Are you paying me for it? Are you buying it off me? Thanks for your opinion, but it's still my thing. And you know what? I'm going to do it my way. Anyways, back to this. So at this point, I almost have it to where I'm happy with it. You also want to double check, make sure any surfaces you missed to get them. I mean, you can leave surfaces that are not distressed. There's always the chance that some spots have been spared from your use, the elements, or general abuse. One thing you never forget, especially if you got a slide, don't forget to do under the slide. Especially if you're heavily distressing it. Because then when you go to cock it or load it, it's kind of like, look at that shiny, shiny spot that matches none of the rest of the blaster. All right, so now we have the chrome on. And you can tell just a little bit of a difference, right? Now I did it pretty fast. Trust me, you can do it slower than that. So we're gonna put this away. I'm still not done. So the other thing I like to do is, let's say by accident you went too heavy with the silver. There's too much silver in one spot and you want to cover it up. You can come back with paint, but this is a little easier thing that I use. Plus, it's a great way of dirtying up the blaster without dirtying up the blaster. And that is this, Rub and Buff. This one specifically is called Ebony. It is a black rub and buff. It's like shoe polish. I'm sure you can put on gloves and use other things. I'm sure you can. I do not. I just use my finger. Luckily, I have some good hand cleaner after to get it off, because when you get the stuff on your finger, regular soap doesn't always pull it off. So again, you see it's almost like a shoe polish or a wax. So right here, let's say I got too much silver. I come back with it like this, and almost like a magic eraser, I've taken away anywhere where I've got too much silver. So at this point, I'm pretty happy with it. But just because it's chrome, silver, and gray, I want to distress it. So I'll come with it probably up here, a little bit back here. Some of your silver spots, if they don't look as clean as you would like, you can come back with this to hide any deficiencies in it. You can see already how it's coming together. On the back side, same idea. And you don't want to go full bore. So again, don't get like a big wad of it and smear it on unless you're looking for that. You just need a little bit and feel it out. If you're unsure of it, if you have an old blaster or a crappy one that you don't care about, experiment on that to really get a feel for how this product works. Like the first time I used this stuff, it wasn't like my first try. Oh yeah, this is great. I know what I'm doing. Are you nuts? It took me a couple of practice tries on older blasters to really get a feel for how this flows and how it works. And again, you can go even hard. So see on the back, I went too much. Before it sticks too much, you can get a rag or even a paper towel or something and wipe it off to diminish how much you have on it. I'm getting to a point where I think I'm happy with it. I also like coming back along the ridge vents with a little bit, so you had the distressing, but then also with the black to really darken it out. Somewhere like that, somewhere like this. I think that's good. I got that shiny grip part. You know what? Odds are you're in the field and playing, you're going to have dirty hands. What do dirty hands mean? You're going to make it dirty, whether you wanted to or not. So you know what? Let's just do this. And basically, there you have it. Trust me, first time I did this, it took a lot longer than the length of this video. But you do it enough times, you get used to it. It's you can distress it as much as you want or as little as you want. It really is up to you. But have fun with it. These are two techniques I like. If you like the rub and buff, you can probably pick up different colors and see if you can distress it in a different way to add some depth. I'm sure if you picked up, they have one called Spanish Copper, which I use for a lot of my wood. Or you can try it on the blaster to make it look like it's rust. Experiment, see how it works for you. But this is how you do it. Thanks again for watching. If you haven't joined already, be sure to join the World Foam Alliance. Go to worldfoamalliance.org. Don't forget to check our YouTube channel on the World Foam Alliance. We have regular shows, The Foam Zone, Get Off My Lawn, plus we have my show, The Forge. We have Captain Xavier with The Range. Don't forget to check us out. Don't forget to subscribe. And don't forget to share the word. We are spreading the word of the World Foam Alliance. The bigger we grow, the more we can do for you. That's it for this episode. I hope to see you the next one. And the next one, I don't know what we're doing, but you'll find out.